Hello, my name is Matthew Elvers, and today I'm going to walk you through the sales team application calculation that I built for this assignment. So, the main goal of this assignment is to manage salesperson's data, figure out their total annual earnings with a 5% commission, and see if they hit their mandatory sales quotas. So, let's dive into the code. So, what I decided to do for my code is I decided to split two classes, but keep them in the same folder so that way they could like simultaneously like interact and work with each other. So as you can see, I have salesperson Java and sales test Java. So as you can see by my comments here, I declared our instance variables like the first name, last name, monthly salary, and monthly sales as private, which is all right here, just to make sure that you know, no external classes can like they just can't mess with the data, so it just keeps everything secure and safe. Um, so as you can see for each comment, I kind of like describe the code. So this stuff right here is to set up our salesperson profile with their basic information. So first name, last name, and monthly salary. First name, last name. Uh, this code right here is to make sure we don't start them off with a negative salary. It's just to make sure that when you type something in, if I were to type in something negative, it would, say something else. It would say error, initial monthly salary cannot be negative, defaulting to zero point 0.0. All right. So I also put down here, new employees start with zero sales for the month by default. So that's just, a new employee. They start off with zero sales. Pretty self-explanatory. Um, Getters and setters, to access and update our private variables. So that's just what this is meant for. All this stuff right here. It's just to make the stuff public here. And then, hold on 1 second. All right. And then this is used so the salary variable might be a negative number and doesn't slip through. It's just to make sure that if I were to type something negative, it would just put error monthly salary cannot be negative. It's just a simple check. And then this is used so the sales variable might be a negative number so it doesn't slip through. Same thing here. Error sales cannot be negative. So that's just to make sure if I were to type a negative number for any of that stuff, it would just put that there and wouldn't let me continue and it would put me in a loop. Um, Scale the base pay to a full year and add 5% commission on annual sales. That's just what this code does. That's it. Like, so like after I type in the code, then it'll do all that stuff there. All right. And then this is the actual code right here. So this is the test right here. So like I said, this is the blueprint for this. So import Java util scanner. Public, yep. All right. Collects information for salesperson one. So this is the bulk of it where you have to type it in after I press the run button right here. Um, so this creates the first employee object using our own custom constructor, which I showed previously. First name, last name, salary, monthly salary. Um, and then this is what I was talking about the loop when you don't put in a number that is when you put in a number that is negative. So it's just to make sure that you type in something that's positive. And then this safely updates the object instance state using the public setter. This collects the data for salesperson two. It's pretty just like this one, just but for a second person. And then this is the object that we created for the second employee, first name, last name, and monthly salary. And then this is the same thing where we keep prompting it until we type in a value that isn't a negative number. All right. And then this is the same thing right here as the previous one, up to the second sales state safely using the public setter. It's pretty self-explanatory. All right. And then this is the stuff that is going to be generated outside when we, press the enter button. So generating formatted annual compensation report. So it'll say, annual compensation report, blah, blah, blah. Um, and then this is the format and it will show the final numbers for employee one. And we have the same thing down here for that one too, for employee two. This is a check if employee one clear their milestone goals to determine their status. And then the same thing for here as well. And then this is to close our scanner resource to wrap everything up cleanly. So that's simply what it is. All right. So now we're going to run the code. All right. So now it's prompting me to type in the first name. So I'm going to use my name, Mathew. Last name Elvrs. And then monthly salary, let's go 5,000. And then monthly sales, let's go 10,000. And then second person, I'll do John. And then Doe. And then let's try negative 1,000 and see what it's going to say. So it says error initial monthly salary cannot be negative. So it's just going to put me back in the loop. So let's do 10,000. And then you see how it makes me go past that. All right. And then here we go, annual compensation report. I just put those dashes just to make it look neater, nice, with all the new lines and stuff. All right. So my name, Matthew Elvers, annual earnings, 66,000. This is with the 5%, add-on. And then status, star seller. That's just what that's gonna say. It says it for all this stuff right here. And then if it's bad, then it'll say more training. And then name, John Doe, annual earnings, 6,000, status, star seller. And then that's the end of the code. So that's really about it for this assignment. It's pretty self-explanatory with all the calculation stuff. So thank you for listening and thank you for your time.